Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global News. I'm Elena Georgiou, and this is our last episode of the Trauma Recovery series. And today our topic is Finding the Joy. And this is the 9th episode. So feel free to go back and watch all of our Trauma Recovery series. It takes courage to move forward, and you're not alone. David Gilks, Nicole, Dubruel, and I are here to support you in any way you'll be wanting. So let's welcome David and Nicole. Hello, David.
Hello, Elena. Hello. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Hello, Nicole.
Hi. Great to be here again.
Great to be here. It's our last episode. And our topic is very interesting today. And we must find joy in everyday living to rip our heart's desires. So how can we find joy? It's stay authentic and keep making decisions based on our truths and stay in line with our divine purpose. Accept that some things come to an end and embrace change and let go of the old way of thinking. Even if it's painful, you may say goodbye to some old habits, career, or relationships for new opportunities to enter your life. Or you may say goodbye to the things that no longer serve your divine purpose. And to live your best life, you must let go of the things holding you back, and the old ways don't work anymore. So it's time for all of us to let them go. I have difficulty letting go of people in the past because I only saw the good in people I loved and avoided seeing the truth on the opposite side of these people. They were not terrible, but they really didn't help me in my transformation or growth. So I was also focused only on the negative side of life without realizing the abundance surrounding me. I wasn't grateful for the good or bad. And I see now that when one door closes, I feel grateful because another one will open soon. And when it does, I walk through it with courage. And the rewards you're waiting for to live your best life manifest effortlessly because you have already made the necessary changes. So stay true and focus on fulfilling your divine purpose and feel grateful for all the freedoms you have today. And focus on unlocking your abundance mindset. Relax more, enjoy the little things in life that makes much difference, like a walk in the park or walking barefoot near the seaside, meeting up with your friends, singing, dancing, and enjoying life to its fullest. And take a break from social media and look at the real world. Focus on what must you be grateful for and how to have more fun daily. And stop being so stressed by the world around you that you miss all the fantastic opportunities. That's why restoring your abundance mindset and relaxing is so important, and let the world take care of itself. You need to ensure that everything is in working order in your own life before you can expand to making things happen in the world around you. So don't let the things happening in the world get you down. You can pray for the world, but also take time to pray for yourself, pray for all the things you want to see happening in your own life, and watch all these opportunities to expand your life manifest more rapidly in your life. And overall, your ability to manifest is at record high right now, but you're wasting your energy worrying about things you can't change. Focus more on your life and what makes you happy, and all this will restore your abundance mindset. So it would be best if you also focus on recharging your batteries. If you're running on empty right now, do something, because this affects the quality of the things that you want to manifest. And your angels can answer your prayers if you keep looking past the opportunities they're sending your way. So you need to make sure that you take a breather and start to focus on the little things and be grateful for those little things in your life. And when you focus on the little things, your brain will flip from the luck mindset into an abundance mindset. And the more grateful you are, then your angels, the universe, and God will be able to send more of that to your way. And one last thing, it's okay to make mistakes, to have bad days, not to be okay, not to know everything, and to choose what's best for you, to love yourself more, to become your best self, and to become your greatness, to manifest all your heart's desires. This is all what I wanted to share with you today. And let's go on with David and Nicole to share whatever they want to share also. David, we cannot hear you.
I muted myself so I wouldn't. My moving around wouldn't interfere with your conversation. All right. Well, sometimes I need to be muted because I like to talk a lot, as you may have guessed by now. No, it's. I was just gonna say. I was saying that this idea of gratitude and it's and with so much of the new age conversation and personal development, we really get kind of we can get washed out with so much information. Like I think Sam Horn, she's an author, I know, and an author out of Texas. I think she coined the term infobesity, right? Just way too much information. We're getting fat off information. There's just too much data, and to simplify things down. And when life gets really complicated, the only way through it is by making things less complicated, right? By simplifying it. And gratitude is, I always found to be an interesting conversation, because I often hear in the social media world and people talking about, well, you need to read your gratitudes every day and it's your mantra. And though all the things that they're saying are true, but to actually have it as a practice, it's something it's much deeper and much more simple and much more, let's say, tangible. For example, when I watch my children grow up, and I know as a parent who's self-employed, who's very busy and has a lot of responsibilities, so I'm busy doing my duty as a parent, but not always present to what's going on in front of me. And so I found myself having to slow my brain down. And if I'm watching let's say I was watching my daughter build something or draw a picture, I would stop and I would focus, and I would force all my senses to take it all in. So I'm watching what she's doing. I'm looking at the expression on her face as she's, working away at her crayons or pencil crayons, seeing what she's drawing, the expression on her face when she looks up and sees I'm looking at her. And I exaggerate the experience like 100-fold, because I want to remember. Like I'm taking, it's almost like I have a camera and I'm taking a picture of it, because I know one day that won't be there. In fact, in 2 months, she won't be the same as she was today. But no, I'm taking it and I'm taking all the meaning that goes along with it. What does this child mean to me, right? What does it mean to be a parent? How fortunate do I think I am? How lucky I am that I have a healthy child, right? And I go through the experience. So yes, it's a similar gratitude context to what people put out there, but it's the embodiment of the idea. Right, it's being able to sit and be present to this experience of something that's really quite extraordinary. This little thing that was created, that we've watched grow and is healthy. All when a child is born, they got 10 fingers and 10 toes. You're pretty excited, right? They have all their limbs, and you get to witness this thing. And I think there's so much joy to be had in those simple things. Or we of course we hear it around the ability to enjoy your food. To sit and slow down, like don't watch television while you're having dinner as a family, which used to be kind of a thing back in the 80s. I think in the 70s, when TV trays and TV dinners first came out, everyone thought it was so exciting, right, to sit around and watch TV and peel off the tinfoil off their food and not talk to each other for 90 minutes as they're all staring at the television. But to be able to sit down and and be aware of the fact that you have all the people that you love in front of you, and you have this beautiful meal in front of you, but it's a real practice. Like it really doesn't come naturally anymore. And I think that's the part of the thing that we have to understand, that it's not a checklist, like you take an inventory Yeah, children asleep and alive, check. Children alive, spouse, yep, check. Right, food in the fridge, check. Right. I mean, and I think gratitude list often to me sound like a checklist, right? But the emotion behind it is what we're looking for, is the idea around joy, right? So I take joy in watching my children and watching them play. I was watching my teenagers. My oldest boy is 20, and my daughter's 16. But her and a friend and my nephew, they had nothing planned, and they were climbing trees in the park, as kids should do. And I sat back and I'm watching, and they're scrambling up in the tree, and leaves are falling and bark's falling, and I'm watching with joy at watching children just be children, not caught up in the devices, but you really have to be present to these moments because joy is everywhere. But it's the act of being present to it, and when you see it, you want to stop and capture it. And the more often you can do that, like watching, I've outside of my home, I have these what are they? Lavender, beautiful lavender bushes, right? And there's so many of them. And I'll stop and I'll sit down with a cup of green tea, and I'll watch the bees working around them. And I'll sit there for like a half an hour. One, I got this beautiful color of purple. I have the beautiful smell, and then I have the orange and black bees with pollen tacked to their backside. And I watch this whole thing unfold, and I take a tremendous amount of joy of watching that. But it's just, we're looking for things that are already there. We're looking outside of our life, thinking that we're missing out on something when everything's in front of you already. But it's actually taking the time, right? Taking the time to acknowledge what you already have going on. There's a biblical phrase that said, and I'll misquote it, but you have to forgive me. But the idea is that to who has much, more will be given. To who has less, even that will be taken away. And there's some of the conversations around the meaning of that potentially. I mean, I'm sure the meaning that was given to it at the time of writing may be different than how we perceive it. But I think you mentioned, Elena, something about the idea of manifestation. If I see my life as abundant, I mean, if I really do, and most of us, regardless of how many struggles we have, if we're alive, we're abundant. I mean, that's a good place to start. Sucking in breath and have a beating heart. But the idea is that if I view my life as I have so much abundance, and I really mean it, and I feel it on a daily basis, and I'm acknowledging it on a daily basis, then more opportunities in that space may show up for me. The likelihood is that I'll probably find more of the same. Right? Because I'm already experiencing abundance, regardless of what level that may look like in comparison to somebody else. But if I see my life as negative, even though I truly have abundance because my heart is beating, right? My lungs are drawing breath, I have a roof over my head, regardless of, in comparison, it may seem less than, of course, to somebody else, which will always be the case. But if I become negative and I don't see the gifts that I have, it's unlikely that more gifts will be bestowed upon me. Right. In fact, people will not want to contribute with me. They won't want to work with me. Right. People will become frustrated by the level of negativity because they can't see why your life is so amazing. And life is struggle, regardless. Right. Like there's always a struggle in life, whether you're writing a book, you're building your fitness, you're trying to raise children. But the struggle is a part of the journey, but it's only a small part of it. And there's so much joy on the other side. And I really do think that we've made it far too complicated. If you just look at take the opportunity and be mindful, just that one thing, right? Take the opportunity to look at your life, and if you acknowledge the fact that you have a partner that you're happy to be with, you have children that you're happy that they're there, you have a home that you're glad that exists, and you have food in your fridge. If you highlight some of the, let's say, the top 3 things in your life that you're really grateful for, and then part of your spiritual practice is every day acknowledging it. And make a point of bringing yourself forward to acknowledge what's really true and wonderful about your life. And over time, you'll begin to notice more and more of those things. And so it's just, regardless of how challenging life is, the challenge will always be the smallest part of your life. The abundance and the joy always makes it the biggest part. It all really depends where you put your focus, like you had mentioned before. So, and then I know one of the powerful things, I know Nicole's been really wonderful listening to her talk about tapping and the ability to interfere with those processes. And I think I think we all have such interesting backgrounds and way of getting to the same conversation. And I definitely think, and I know tapping will play a huge role in it. So that's my segue to you, Nicole.
That's wonderful. And you're very intuitive, because I do want to talk about tapping tonight.
We're gonna have an tapping at the end, okay?
We are. So I am going to leave the tapping part of my conversation for the moment, just for a little bit later. And as you both know as well, that I really love to support parents and that they can support their children. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that for a moment. And so one of the things that our brains are trained to do, and they seem to just do this all the time, is that to protect us, our subconscious mind, who's always on the job, never goes to sleep, never rests, no matter where we go, what we're doing, we always will tend to pick up first on the negative of what's going around us. And that is just how our brain does what it does. And so what I've been playing around with and been given to my clients to play around with lately, because I've just read a book by Mel Robbins, who's a motivational speaker, and it's called, I think if I remember the title correctly, it's called The High Five Club. And I was really impressed and really amazed, and I've really been starting to incorporate this in my daily practices, with my children, sharing it with my clients, and it's really effective, and I'd love the opportunity now to share it with you as well. So when our mind goes, and we're going to try and catch ourselves now. So you walk into a room, maybe you've had a hard day at work, and you walk into the house and you just see the toys on the floor, the little one's crying, the older one hasn't done his homework, and dinner hasn't been cooked yet, and you walk in it, and you just walk into that environment, and your mind just automatically starts to pick up on everything that is wrong in that environment. I want you, from now on, when those thoughts start rushing in, is to put thoughts on hold, okay? And then what you do, and it's something that I always have, and if I go into situations that I don't like very much, like giving blood or having to have injections, I really hate it. I do a lot of tapping before I go, and then once I'm there, I always have my happy thought place. So I want you all to think of a happy thought, and you're going to store this happy thought in your head. So my happy thought place is walking along the beach, watching the waves, pretending I can see dolphins, and in times that I have seen dolphins, imprinting that on my memory, beautiful sunsets, and that feeling that I get from thinking about those things is strong enough for me to stop worrying, stop the anxiety, stop thinking, oh my God, this is going to be terrible, and the needle's going to hurt, and they're taking my blood from me, and everything else that my mind would normally think about. I just go, bring my happy thoughts, and then go there. So you're going to say, stop, I don't want to think about this anymore. And you're going to have your go-to happy thought, and you're going to bring that into your head, and you're just going to spend a little bit of time thinking about your go-to happy thought. And you will find, once you start thinking about that, and you can just honestly hold that thought for about 17 seconds, and it will bring another happy thought in. And then you can see, oh, look, my son's made me a special drawing, or my daughter who was struggling to give her dummy up is not sucking her dummy right now. And you can your mind will start to pick up all the good things that are going on. And the trick that I've learned, a new technique I've learned from the Mel Robbins book, is that every time you go to the bathroom, I want you to give yourselves a high five in the bathroom, to your mirror. I want you to look into that mirror, look at yourself and say, high five, well done, you've got this. Because that immediately, this is something we've all associated the high fives, is that it's a win, I've done a good job. And that is so, so important. And you don't have to worry about going to the mirror and telling yourself your affirmations, and half of your body believes it and half of it doesn't believe it yet, and you get mixed up in the words and everything else. But if you go and just give yourself that high five, your body gets the message that you're a winner, you're succeeding at this. So every time you go to the toilet, you go do your makeup, you go do something in your bathroom mirror, you don't leave until you've given yourselves a high five in that mirror. Okay, wonderful. All right, and then the other things that I wanted to say is that really try and start to see as a family where you can play more. Don't take everything so seriously. If your son didn't do his homework today, yes, it's a terrible thing, but it's not the end of the world. Write the teacher a message, a note, and say, oh, something happened, and spend that time, because maybe he's looking for more connection. And spend that time, get a game out. It doesn't have to be a big game. It can actually just be telling each other knock-knock jokes, or have some fun things on standby. What I find really helpful is you can have an idea jar, and on the tongue depressors, you can write out a few activities and you keep them there. And then so when you're stuck for some ideas, you can pull them out. And just to laugh a little bit, because this is what we're doing, we're finding the joy. I don't know when this started. I think it started over April sometime. And when I go and I lie down, I'm normally the first to go to bed. I just leave everybody, say goodnight, and I jump into bed. And after a little while, my sons will come up for their showers and get ready for bed as well. And so they've started this thing. And honestly, I don't know who thought of it, but I had drifted off to sleep one night, and all of a sudden I feel my feet being tickled. And my first reaction was, no, I'm sleeping, get away, go away from me. And then I remembered, oh, that's what my mom used to do. If I ever walked into the room to disturb her, she would shout at me and say, no, leave me alone, I'm sleeping. So honestly, I made myself stronger in that moment. And I just let them tickle my feet, and then it really started being ticklish, and then I was just in fits of silent laughter, and they absolutely loved it. They thought this was the coolest thing out, and that mom was laughing, and that they were the ones that had gotten me to laugh. And so every now and again I get two little monkeys tickling my feet at night, and although it's really, really ticklish and it's really, really hard, they have a great time. And even the other night, my husband had come up earlier as well, and he was lying in bed, and I don't know why he thought of it. And the boys had come to say goodnight, and they always come in and they give me a hug and a kiss, and they give their dad a hug and a kiss to go to bed. And my husband said, I think you guys are forgetting something. And I go, what? They go, what, Dad, what? And he points to my feet. I promise you, I think I could have killed him at that moment. And they start tickling me. And I start all this laughter again, because my feet are really ticklish. And even my husband just started laughing as well. And it was such a beautiful way for us all to go to sleep. So we need to bring the joy, and we need to bring the fun, and life doesn't have to be all that serious all of the time. So we need more playtime and more fun time with our children. Okay, right. So we can do a little tapping. I have something special prepared for tonight. So we're going to do tapping in order for us to be more open to finding joy, to bring some more joy into our lives. Okay, so let's put our hands here over our heart chakra and take a lovely deep breath in and out. And let's do another one. Okay. And we're going to tap here on the side of our hand. And it really is just such a therapeutic technique. And it just can help us release all of our negative emotions and get us back to be in a more resilient state to welcome the joy in. So just all repeat after me now and say, even though my life is feeling so hard at the moment,
my life is feeling so hard at the moment,
I am open to finding some joy.
I'm open to finding some joy.
Even though
Even though
my life is really difficult right now,
my life is really difficult right now,
and I have many problems,
I have many problems.
I am open to finding some joy in my day.
I'm open in finding some joy in my day.
Even though
Even though
there's such a lot going on right now for me,
There's such a lot going on for me.
I'm so busy,
I'm so busy,
and I just don't have time for fun right now.
I don't have time for fun right now.
I am open to finding some joy.
I'm open to finding some joy.
Okay. Things are really tough for me right now.
Things are really tough for me right now.
My life is quite hard.
My life is quite hard.
I have so much going on.
I have so much going on.
And I'm really feeling it all.
And I'm really feeling it all.
I don't feel like I've got a lot to be happy about.
I don't feel a lot to be happy right now.
It's not much for me to be happy about.
Not much for me to be happy about.
My life is difficult right now.
My life is difficult right now.
Too much going on.
Too much going on.
And not a lot of good things.
And not a lot of good things.
So many difficulties.
So many difficulties.
I'm having such a hard time.
I'm having such a hard time.
I'm going to choose, though.
I'm going to choose, though,
to see where I can find some joy.
To see how can I find some joy.
I am open.
I am open.
To finding some joy.
To finding some joy.
I am open.
I am open.
To finding some ease.
To finding some ease.
And I am welcoming in.
And I'm welcoming in.
Some fun.
Some fun.
And some laughter.
And some laughter.
And maybe a bit of silliness.
Maybe a little bit of silliness.
I am open.
I am open.
To finding the joy.
To finding the joy.
To finding a way forward.
To finding a way forward.
And having some fun.
And having some fun.
Okay, lovely deep breath in. And out. Okay, so you guys can do that every day. Start off your morning with it and see how things start to shift and change for you.
Right.
I really like it. And yes, it's not only children that need to have fun. We need to be playful. We need to claim that playfulness, that fun, that happiness that we have inside, and we do have that. You know, sometimes people say, they feel that they're getting old. But that's when you start feeling that you're getting old, that you have to start being more playful and like childhood and be like a child.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think it was Wayne Dyer, I could be wrong on that, and he used to say that it's not that I'm getting too old to play, it's that I'm not playing and I'm getting old.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and we can see that simply in just the just through movement, right? It's so a lot of things that a big part of my practice historically was helping people run, how to be back in their bodies, how to make them move physically. And really a lot of it is just, we're mimicking play. We're mimicking getting down on the ground, rolling around, getting up, learning how to balance, and all the things that people actually, as they get older, become afraid to do because they're afraid of falling and they lose their balance and lose their strength. It's not because they got old, to Elena's point. It's, we need that input. We need to be interacting all the time. And it's just, and because the world is a little bit more complicated, and perhaps we have access to more negativity. I'm not sure if it's more negative, but we just have access to more of it in such a, it's in the media sense. But the joy part, it really has to be intentional. And I love the, tapping is something I looked at years ago, and but I love the simplicity of it, because it's not super complicated, but it's super powerful. And being able to say something, but to actually wire it into your brain, to have that intentionality is such a great tool. And I think, I think for a lot of people, if they don't really understand it, you don't have to, you just got to know it works.
Yeah, you just got to try it, and you can
Exactly.
feel it in your body. I mean, even us doing that, I just felt lighter already. I felt like, oh, a load had been lifted off of me. Yeah. And, like with what David is saying, that exercise is so important, because doing physical activity releases endorphins in your brain. And the happy hormones can come in, and you can feel so much happier after doing a physical activity. So yeah, as Elena says, get dancing, get running, get, playing outside, have water fights with your children.
Even singing, anything, to get us going. So, Nicole, the practice that you're doing is that you start like from the negative side of us that we are having an issue, and then we turn it around into a positive one, right? We end up.
Yes, so we start with the negative, because the negative feelings in us, they need a voice. That's why we keep thinking all these negative thoughts. They're just trying to get our attention. Just like a small child, you're chatting on the phone with a friend, and they go, Mom, and you go, in a minute, my love, and they go, Mom, and they go, in a minute, and then all of a sudden, they're tugging at you, they're beating on you, and you go, what is it? Tell me. And they go, oh no, there's a little butterfly on the window, and so the negative emotions need a voice, and that's what we do. But even in the setup statement, what we call the setup statement, is that we always say, even though that I'm having this negative thing, we can say, I accept myself, or we can put in whatever positive phrase that we would like to have. So right here, even in the setup phrase, we are telling ourselves and our body that even though this bad thing is going on, even though I'm feeling so angry right now, I'm overwhelmed, I'm sad, and then we're giving it a positive twist at the end there to let it know that that's not the end of it, that we can move on. And then we normally would rate, when I'm working with people, and say I'm working with maybe a young student who's having some anger issues, and he's finding himself, he's always angry. I get him to rate the anger. So we find the emotion. The emotion is very powerful because it's an emotional freedom technique. Okay, so you find the emotion about how you're feeling about what's going on. Okay, so say he's saying he's angry, then I get him to rate that anger. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how angry are you? 0, you're the happiest boy alive, and 10, you're ready to break things, you're ready to start screaming, you're ready to explode. And then he might say, oh, I'm really angry, I'm at a 9. And then we start, and we would say something like, even though I'm so angry right now, I am willing to find a way to feeling happier, or I'm going to love and accept myself anyway, because it's not bad that we're feeling that way. And we still need to remind ourselves that we are love, and we can accept ourselves even like that it's okay. But if that's difficult to say, you can just say, but I choose to feel calmer now, or I choose not to be so upset about this. And then we would go through, we say the setup statement normally 3 times, and then we go through all the points, and you can even just say that, keep it simple. I'm so angry, I'm really mad, I'm so angry. Anger, all this anger. And I can ask them, where are you feeling that anger in your body? Is it in your head, your heart, your chest? And, you'll normally, if you tune into your body, you find that you are feeling it. Sometimes they're surprised. They go, oh, where am I feeling it? And I've even had a child tell me in my little pinky of my left foot, and you work with that. And you say, I'm feeling all this anger in my little pinky in my left foot, or I'm feeling it, all this anger in my head, wherever it is. And you keep doing the rounds, and then you would stop and check in and say, how angry am I now on that scale of 0 to 10? All right. And sometimes it goes up. Like he says, actually, I'm a 10. And that's a great indication that this is deeper than what we originally thought. This might have some childhood things going on around it. And then I'll ask him other questions to get more in tune with what's going on and work on that. And it might go down to a 5 or a 4. So once that number sort of goes in the last three, a 3, a 0, a 1, or even a 3, a 2, or 1, or even a 0, then we can flip it and we can work on the positive. And we've just been working on a new technique where we bring it to we start like, how angry are you? And he says it's a 10. We put it as a negative 10. We come up to 0, and then we flip it, and then we not only get him feeling happy, excited about life at a 1 or a 2, but we can push it right through up until a 10. And I've been having a lot of success with that lately. So we flip it and push it out, which has been really great. Yeah.
It's a good method.
Yes.
For people, let's say, that don't know a way to express themselves, or it's a really good practice.
Yes, and you don't have to use words. As part of my morning routine, we were talking about writing books before we jumped on live, and I've actually in the middle now of nearly completing an ebook that I'm doing on a powerful morning routine on how to set your day up for success. And I teach a little bit of meditation, a little bit of gratitude, and then like 3 minutes, put it on your alarm clock on your phone so that you know that you're being looked after. It will ring after 3 minutes and you can stop, and just tap and breathe on each point for 3 minutes, no words. And you'll step into your day so much calmer, so much stronger, and your day will just flow so much better. Yeah.
And tapping here also, you taught us that even if you don't say any words, just when you feel anxious and you do this,
you can tap here. You can tap on your finger points where your nail meets the skin if you're out in public. You can just use your thumbs and you can just tap like that, so you can have your hands and tapping. Yeah, and I teach my students underneath the desk at school. They can just tap here. On any energy.
It releases, yeah.
Yeah. It's really effective. I've gone to the bank one day, and I hate going to the bank. So I go in, do my tapping before I go to clear out any negative thoughts I might be having around a bad, difficult experience I've had at the bank in the past. And I do my tapping and I go in. And this particular day I got into the bank, and a lady was dealing with a customer before me who had given her a really, really hard time. And she was angry and upset, and he just kept pushing it. And then then he left, and I could see she was all distracted and was not focused on me at all, and was trying to get things done. And I just sat there and imagined myself tapping on the points, because I know the points really well now. And I just go, okay, I'm tapping on my eyebrow, I'm tapping on the side of the eye, and I just imagined that I'm tapping on all my points. And she said to me, I just need to finish this. I said, please take your time. I'm not in a hurry. You do your work. And I thought, I'm going to do my inner work. And I just kept going round and round with my thoughts, doing my tapping. And then all of a sudden, she put it aside and she focused on me, and she looked at me in the eye and she said, right, how can I help you today? And I knew I had her then, that I was going to have a great experience at the bank that day. And she was so helpful. And I was in and out of there in 10 minutes, my favorite bank experience. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yay. Do you want to share anything else? David, do you want to share anything else? Nicole?
Yeah. Well, I just think, you know, the underlying message that we do actually have a tremendous amount of control. Like we do. I mean, you know, we can't control the environment, but we can control meaning. And, you know, and that, you know, and it's, again, it's just, you know, from what we're speaking about, there's no difference to how you would train an athlete to be great. You train somebody to be great inside their own life. Is that, you know, we have a physical core. And if we, you know, for every, whether somebody's recovering from an injury or I'm trying to make an athlete faster, 80% of it's core work. You know, that's where 80% of the effort is. So they see everything as a core exercise, you know, jumping, running, throwing a ball, right? It's every time the body moves, the core becomes active and controls the movement patterns. And it's no different than having a core philosophy. But if you don't stand for something, if you don't actually do the work, if you don't declare it and decide it and practice it, like the physical part, there's nothing, you get nothing in return. And I think one of the challenges that we get into is that we get caught up in the never-ending cycle of reading and listening and reading and listening and reading and listening, but you actually have to put everything into practice. So, you know, find something that resonates with you and don't make it super complicated and be willing to put in the work. You know, like it's not, I think the frustration is that we get overwhelmed with all the information we've read, but there's no implementation. And because we're getting high off the information. We want the next book, we want the next trick. But it's really just, you know, take simple things, put it into practice until you have some degree of mastery, and then build on it. And over time, you'll have this great set of tools that you can use in all different parts of your life. But you actually have to, you know, you have to pick a path. You have to decide to do something and not get distracted by the next thing. You know, and tapping is a really simple tool, right? Tapping can underpin everything that we've been talking about, saying, got these great ideas. Well, then I'll take the idea and I'll put it through a tapping round. And it's funny because even though, like, I don't have to use Nicole's language, the language will come. The language will just show up. My brain will tell me, you know, it'll know what I want to say, and I can refine it over time. But if you don't have a practice, you don't get any better. And all this information is great, but I think that's where a lot of frustration lies with so many people, is that they know different, like have all this information out here, all this incredible amount of tools that they have yet to put into practice. And that's where a lot of the frustration lies, right? Because we know better, but we're not doing better and we don't know why.
Exactly. And it's like read the theory and then implement the practice. Yeah. And there's so many knowledge, as David said. I like to do my affirmations, my gratitude, journaling, writing, so, and tapping with Nicole. So there's so many things to do, and we just have to spare some time in our day, maybe in the morning, maybe at night. Anytime is okay to do it. I sometimes, you know, I don't have much time in the morning because I have to wake up and then drive to work. So I usually do my practices at night. I'm more quiet. I'm in my safe space there. So yeah, whatever is convenient for you.
Yeah, I'm a morning person. I love to start off my day with this. I normally wake up before anybody else. I normally go to sleep before anyone else. I wake up before them all. And just that little bit of time in the morning when the house is so calm and quiet, I have my morning routine. And, you know, I'm going to get this, the book is nearly finished. It's going to be probably finished tomorrow morning. I'm getting it out. And I would actually just like to, any of our listeners here who would like it can reach out to me and just say trauma recovery series, and I'll send them a free copy of the ebook. And honestly and truly, it's just a small start a small change you can make. And it's 3 simple things we do: 2 minutes of meditation, saying a few things we're grateful for, the silent tapping, and then stepping into your day. So if anybody would like that and find it helpful, I'm very happy to send it out.
That's really good of you, Nicole. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, we gotta start making the change. And, you know, I always say, just start where you are and do one small thing. One small thing, that's it.
Exactly. One step at a time. Step by step.
Step by step. That's right.
Okay, thank you very much, David and Nicole, for your contribution for this trauma recovery series. I couldn't do it without you, you know that. And thank you so much for teaming up with me and giving this great work. And we have 9 episodes, so feel free. I'm saying to our viewers, go back and watch all our trauma recovery series episodes. And I want to say again that I'm gonna post in the comment section all our contact details, so you can feel free to reach out to us. We're here to support you in any way you want. And I would like to say goodbye. Have a great summer. Enjoy yourselves. And don't forget your daily practices. And see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Elena. It's been great doing this with you. A wonderful experience.
Thank you too. Okay, then. Bye-bye.